members of our team yesterday. We'll be playing that tape before we begin the interview because that's quite important to set the basis for this interview. But in studio we have Angel Malima Mori. She's the deputy campaign spokesperson for the Julius Carnival team. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. George. Good morning to all Liberians listening to us today. The name is Angel Malama Morris, and I feel so happy, refreshed being on the Super Morning Show today with you and every other person, here to explain to the Liberian people and all Liberian journalists in the country why they should actually vote Mr. Julius Kanaba.
Okay. We also have on the program Madam Wimon Jala Cole. She's the deputy campaign manager. Tim Julius also. Madam, good morning.
Good morning, Sabah, and good morning to our fellow journalists out there and the Liberians, which we are really excited to serve in this noble profession.
Okay, so the team is here. They are from the Julius Carnival campaign team. We also have in studio. In fact, just walked in Tatos Topa. I think Tatos, Ben. He's been a very good, employee of mine. In fact, very, young, controversial man in the newsroom. Tatos, good morning.
Good morning, Sabah. It's a pleasure to be on the national broadcaster again after it was several years. Yeah.
Taros give me a hard time, when you were 70. But anyway, okay, so we'll be playing this tape to set the basis for the interview. Again, we are throwing out this invite to the Daniel Yankona's team. If you can place a call today, we'll make sure to find the airtime for you so that you can also come on this platform. We are state broadcaster and our responsibility cuts across to all of you. Let's play this tape quickly and listen.
As we speak, all is set. Elections are going to be held on Saturday in Bangabong County. And today, the final voter roll is going to be published.
So you say all is set for Saturday?
It is.
If all is set for Saturday, like you just claimed, because there's been this whole concern about cleaning up the voter roll, has that been done now?
Yes, the voter roll has been audited. And the membership committee gave us a listing. From that listing, after viewing it, we realized there were some issues with the numbering. When we did the actual numbering, the names turned out to be 1,472.
1,000?
Yes. Now, out of those 1,472 names, we did the audit, and then we realized that there were some members who did not meet the criteria for full membership, and they were on the listing. So they were removed. There were others who were full members by some omission or some error or something. They were not on the list at all. They were added back. And then there were members, after going through all the forms, we realized that there were some journalists who met the criteria or even surpassed the criteria for full membership, but were given associate membership status. Those two were added back. As of today, after the audit, we have a total of 1,426 names.
Instead of 1,472?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the voice of Adewale Kekula. She's the chairperson of the PUA Elections Commission. First, let me get the reaction to the Julius Carnival team. What do they make of what the chairperson has just said, beginning with you, Madam Morris?
Not only did I listen to this audio strategically, I also followed the interview. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I got from the interview was that there were corrections made. So I want to ask this question to the Elections Commission. What if we had not filed in a complaint?
Okay.
She mentioned that there were corrections made, and they find out that the names that were not supposed to be there were actually there. So what if the Julius Kanaba team had not brought this to their notice? You see, so this is something very serious, and they still have that gamut of arrogance in as much as the mistakes have been made. They don't even want to identify, the mistakes. Also, listening to this recording, we had an issue. The issue was let us get to clear the voters' roll, right? You cannot clear a voters' roll without our consent or in our absence, because we are the ones who have this issue.
Okay.
And then they went ahead and said it is not in their jurisdiction to ensure that we are there. Now us they're working for. That was the language they spoke yesterday and every other time we attended hearings at the Press Union of Liberia.
Okay. Women, how do you react to what the chairperson said?
Sober, and to our colleagues journalists out there, how can the election committee say to us that all is set for election on Saturday when over 100 members of the union, full members, registered members, do not still have ID cards? They still struggle, they have no way out as to how do they acquire the ID cards that were taken by the leadership. And without your ID card, you cannot vote, but they still tell us all is well. How can they say all is well when one team, one side of those in the election have complained that there are issues of cleaning the voters' roll, and the fact that the membership committee was the one used to flood the list in our language. They flooded the list and it was calculated. Should be the same one to come and clean the list. So we do not trust them leading the process of cleaning the list. So we went to election commission. You are spearheading this election. This is our issue. So please, to ensure fairness and free election, for it to be transparent, we suggest that you organize another body outside the membership so that we all can sit and do this cleaning together. The fact that we have provided some exhibits to prove to you that indeed this list is bloated, there's a need to investigate it. They say it's not in our purview. Now, okay, it's not in our purview, but still, come, send 2 persons to come and clean. We provided this roadmap, this idea that we all could use for the interest of transparency and fair play. Let us look at this roadmap. Other auxiliaries, the feature did it. That's, disaggregate the listing, let people know. To be able to investigate, you must first know where journalists come from. You can't just have a list of women Jarako female, that's all. Where does women Jarako work? So those were the issues, but then they ignore all that, they disregarded all that, and the reason why we are even fighting to go to election, that for the election to be held, is that they found that this very commission that should be playing this twin model role has glaringly been seen as taking sides.
Okay. That's your reaction to what the chairperson said yesterday. We just played the audio. We just been joined in studio by, I'm sure he's the campaign chief, right? He's the head of the campaign team of Julius Kanaba, my own good friend and brother, Raymond Zabut. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Saba, and thank you for this.
Yes.
Thank you for this opportunity. First, we want to render our apology for our lateness. We followed the program, as we drove to your studio. We want to say thanks for this opportunity. We heard the excerpt you play of Attorney Adewale.
You react to that.
Yes,
let
so
a colleague.
so on behalf of the team, I want to say thank you for this opportunity. We're very grateful.
Many thanks. Let's hear from Tatos Tuba. Tatos, what's your reaction to the audio you listened to?
You know, I like when somebody is doing an interview, especially with someone like me, because I learned a lot from Sobo's style of interview when I practiced journalism here at LBS, where I birthed my media path. And I like to say to the LBS management, thanks for the level of improvement here at the state broadcaster. Good. And it's as a result of some of us advocacy who work here, and that's what we push for. So. Thanks a lot to the current management headed by Esther Liberty and Kemon and the rest of the team members. Yeah. Now back to the issue, Sobo. I think you heard about colleagues, and we followed the conversation yesterday with the commission dialogue for the Congress committee officials. Look, if you look at the analysis of these issues springing out from the ensuing election, it tells you that the commission is on the verge of, and I want to say it categorically, right? I don't mince my words. The commission headed by Attorney Aliweli Kekula and that of the Congress committee members, Myers and the rest of the people, they are on the verge of rigging these elections in favor of the incumbent. And we come here to make it clear, categorically, that that will be vehemently resisted, not by violence, but by invoking the relevant laws. And like she said in the audio, that all is set for elections. I know LBS carried the news, they're quoting her as what she said. But let me say this. When I called yesterday on the show, they hijacked the telephone line. You kept telling them, look, give the young man a chance to put his points through. And that tells you just what they displayed yesterday in the studio. That was what they have been doing
On a regular
from the
basis.
time they've been inviting us. We are part of the process and we feel cheated, right? We wrote a complaint in a civilized world. That's what you do. When you feel cheated, you raise the issue with the authority concerned. We raised the issue. We went to the first meeting. My own counselor, Bobby Livingston, who I respect, I have very high respect for him because he's my personal lawyer. He was part of that conversation. He was in the meeting. And you won't believe that the chairperson of the PO Elections Commission left from behind the desk more than 3 different times and walked out of the meeting. Only because she was emotionally charged.
Yeah.
So when they started the conversation, the cross-cutting arguments across the floor, I sat down some behind it for some minutes. And we could not agree on one roadmap, how to solve the issue of the voters' roll issue. Because the membership committee members were also there. Now, I said to them, if you guys are in rush to do the election, assuming, I brought this hypothetical situation to them. If you are traveling to the airport and you say you are rushing because you don't want to get late for your flight, in the process of driving and rushing, if you bump into somebody's car or any person on the highway, will you stay flat into where you're going to?
No.
You have to stop.
Good. When I brought that scenario, I was trying to bring wisdom into the debate. When I brought that, all of them went quiet, including the chairpersons of the Elections Commission. These are people who have age. We are all professional people. We expect that we'll go to these processes with professional mindset. But instead, they want to be part of the process. They want to take sides. Look at the issues about. In the first place, there are a series of violations. The Constitution of the Press Union.
That was just, please, I know I'll come back to you. That was just a reaction to what the chairperson said. Let's hear from, I know we'll talk about those issues.
Sure,
But let's
we will.
hear from the chair of your campaign team, Mr. Raymond Zabi. Mr. Zabi, what's your reaction to the audio?
Thank you
that we played?
again. I think, quite frankly, our colleagues who appeared on your program yesterday brutalized the facts. They misrepresented us in a very unfriendly and disrespectful way. And that is why I'm not surprised you have given us the opportunity to come and disabuse the minds of people, who listened to them yesterday. I mean, the fact that Adewale Kekula, she is the point person in this whole scenario, who has given this impression that she doesn't want to listen to us at all. We raised the red flag after reviewing the provisional list. There were people who are not eligible to be on that list. We raised the flag. You describe us as people who are, wasting times, and people who are not ready to, make progress. You invite us to an audience, all right? You describe it as an administrative hearing. So we tell you, because we've noticed that there will be some legal implication and we are not legally knowledgeable, give us 3 days to, hire
Our lawyer.
Our lawyer. So we went back and forth. They thought we had just gone there without preparation. So they were caught with their pens and said, well, so they asked us out to give them 10 minutes, that will consult. Did they explain that yesterday? They did not. So we've come to clear the air, to really explain exactly what happened and the kind of representation they have given us. which is very unfriendly. So when I came back, they said, okay, we can't give you 3 days, we'll give you 2 days. So we told them to give us another 5 minutes because we were going back and forth with our lawyer. And we say, okay, since this is a negotiation, it's a win-win situation, you said you can't give us 3 days, you'll give us 2 days. No problem. We accept the 2 days
okay.
because we have vested interests. We have vested interests and we're very protective of our vested interests. So we agreed. We come with our lawyer, okay, and they ask us, what is it that you have to do? So we say, okay, since we asked you to be legally represented and you agreed, we've come with our lawyer. So we are waiving our rights to our lawyer. Every comments that will be made here now will be through our lawyer. Okay, so we'll go over our pieces of evidence. And all of a sudden, they expect our lawyer, as astute as he is, to just come present, evidence, pieces of evidence. I said, no, you are all legal practitioners. You go to court, you pleading, you don't just go to the facts, you have to lay a premise. And that was what our lawyer was trying to do. And it annoyed them to the extent, it showed sheer disrespect. The only person who was, a little bit calm there was Attorney Al Vanny Rogers, who saw some wisdom in what we were presenting and tried to calm them down to speak to their consciences. But still, they showed that disrespect. Medade was among those who were showing disrespect to our lawyer. I'm not talking about even Adewale Kekula. It wasn't a Caroline who was trying to, calm the waters. A little bit showing some tolerance. But Adewale Kekula has shown impatience from the day we started interacting with them. And we are not kids. We are people who are very knowledgeable of what we are doing.
Now, gentlemen, let me ask
So to conclude on that point, they brutalize the facts. The facts here are the fact that we raised the red flag. They had a revision, and they came out and said there was a need. First, they were dismissing our claims. They came out and said there was a need for the voter roll to be clean. So why in the first place did you dismiss our claims? Why in the first place were you showing us such disrespect? They are ladies. They came here yesterday. Caroline was saying, I apologize on behalf of my team. These are reputable young people I'm leading. There's mutual respect. Before I speak, everybody, has a say in what we say.
Surely.
We're very organized. So, we just want to disabuse the minds. We're going to be very calm in our presentation, unlike when they came yesterday. Apparently, they did not brief Danishas, who was very quiet. He hardly spoke. All
Okay,
right?
was not
Okay, now, gentlemen, let me
difference.
ask the question now. Before we started the discussion, I played the tape, and you heard the chairperson saying, "All is set
All
for
is
the elections."
set.
Let's hear from all of you.
Yeah,
Where
there
are
are
we now?
constitutional violations that I want to point out, and then those are issues that will tell you as to whether what the chairperson said yesterday it is true, whether all is said or not. One constitutional violation, Article 10, Section 7 of the Presidential Constitution talks about disaggregation of the list, which my colleague Wilmon, the co-chairperson of our campaign committee, talked about earlier. The list has not been disaggregated. The so-called membership list that they are saying they cleaned up in our absence has not been disaggregated. We will now go to these elections, and everywhere many journalists who are members of the Presidium will now go to these elections when the list is not disaggregated. We want to know where Mr. Sober George works. We want to know where Titus Tupa works. We want to know where Julius Kanuba works. And that goes with the rest of the members of the Presidium. That's what the Constitution says. The framers of the Constitution meant something positive for the institution. That's why they incited that clause. Next issue, the next violation, Article 11, Section 2, talks about the composition of the elections committee. Now, it says there should be a 5-member committee set up on the elections committee. And what are the credentials of the members of the elections committee? One, you must be a former official, meaning you may have served as official of the press union, and then all former EC members. 2 persons are on the committee, the elections committee. They haven't served the president of Liberia as official. They haven't also served as EC member. And that person is Ali Were Kekula. That's a gross violation of the President of Liberia Constitution. Alewale Kekula has never ever served as official of the Press Union of Liberia. This is what the Constitution of the PUI is saying. We need to point that out. Let the audience know what is going on within the Press Union. Secondly, Alewale Kekula has never served as editor or EC member. Marilyn Missy, the same thing applies with her. Was she editor before? No. She has never been a senior member in any newsroom. She came here yesterday.
But are they used to serve at the Radio Veritas?
Yeah, she served at Radio Veritas, but the point is, the person must meet the both criteria. Former member. She been former member of President, she served as EC member. No, we need to investigate that. The same thing applies with Melody Missy. Melody boasted that she has served in the media for 20 years, which is not true. I came around the journalism community in 2000. Mr. George, you know, I started my internship around 2002 at EABC, fresh from high school. But then when we were doing internship, Melody Missy was in high school. So I've been around the media 20 years. So how can she boast of 20 years? That's not true. That's one check we need to make. People should not use a national broadcaster
So you started
conflict.
2 constitutional violations.
Yes, there
so
are
far.
people on the commission who are not qualified to be on the commission. Another issue, the disaggregation of the late summer is a serious issue that borders on credibility of the press union. The image of the press union has been in the dungeon for years. This is a group of young people who have said, look, we cannot sit and allow the union to die naturally. We have consultation with media executives and civil society leaders across this country as a result of the Julius Kanaba consensus-based process.
We've written all of them.
You understand? And we realized that almost all of the media executives that we met, right, they complain, they acknowledge that the PUI is in the dungeon in terms of image, and the PUI needs to be revived. Needs to be revived. It's a serious issue. And people like Stanton P. Bally, right, those great journalists, Kenneth Best, those people who live their life, who put their life on the line for the journalism community in this country, that people can relate to, can make reference to when it comes to the journalism community. These are people that we are playing with their legacy.
Gentlemen, let me come in quickly. It seems that the Julius Kanaba team just want to throw the entire election into serious problem because you initially, indicated and you demanded that there should be a clean up, there should be an edit of the voter roll, which the commission did. Why are you again coming up with the issue of this aggregation? And if not, you're not going to allow the election to take place.
That's what the Constitution says.
Titus, the voter roll, I mean, is it cleaned?
You heard the president
It's been
says
stepped up.
clean.
Come on. They are in fact wasting our time. They are certainly wasting our time.
But if it was not clean, Mr. Zabi, then we would have had a reduction in the number.
It's a reduced.
No,
It's reduced.
No, somebody-
I have to replay the table. So you listen to us.
There are no
From
reduction.
1,410, now you have 1,426.
Is it a reduction?
Let me give you the statistics.
Interesting.
You still have repetitions. You still
Mr.
have
George.
duplications.
Let me give you the statistics. There were 3 lists published. 1,374, the first list.
Yeah.
That's the first list that surfaced.
Signed by the
The president
The
of the
membership
press union
committee.
or
Yeah.
Mr. Coffey, approved by Mr. Coffey and signed by the membership committee. There was another list announced by the Congress committee chaired by Mrs. Caroline Myers Zuda. And the number was around 1,410. Up to present, we have never ever seen that 1,410 list published online. For what reason? The Congress committee and the membership committee must answer to that. But at the press union office, they had it there. With additional names, the title as addendum, 36 names. Then of late, after the claim that they have done the cleanup process, the so-called cleanup process, they are now telling us in the audio that you play, Ale is saying some people have paid their money. They did not include their name on the previous list. That's the justification she's trying to give
the registration
the public.
process expired.
And this is where They didn't want to give you chance yesterday. This is where the media must investigate. Who were those that paid their money and for what reason they were not placed on the list?
And there
What was their intent?
there was a registration period.
Period. The period elapsed. The period elapsed.
Oh, okay, but let me just announce that you just
chief
arrived.
person.
We have again your name, please.
Romeo Tobak.
Okay, Romeo just joined us. Romeo is also a member of the campaign team.
He's a
Romeo,
spokesperson.
he's a spokesperson. Okay, Romeo, you the spokesperson. We heard from your colleagues here. It seems that again. Let me repeat my question. The Julius Carnaval team wants to throw this election into total disarray.
Well, I don't think it's a claim that we will take. What we intend to do is to be a respectable partner to the president of Liberia, and in helping the president of Liberia to regain his status as an integrity institution in the society. And if you have to go with the money called the tag and integrity institution, then all of those things that you should do should reflect integrity. At the end of the day, the elections that we intend to have at the president of Liberia, should be an outcome of a process that is credible, that is transparent, and that is free of all of those things that undermine credibility and what have you.
That's your
What we are
advocacy.
with-
That's what you want. And
and
the election
that should be the
commission,
advocacy of
and
everyone
the
who
election
has
commission
interest.
has cleaned up the list.
All right, they claim
That's
that they have
what
cleaned up the
I'm
list, but even as they claim on your station yesterday, they were even shooting themselves in the line.
How?
What they were doing? They have shown, they have proven that tacitly that they even usurped the function of the membership committee. The election committee is an ad hoc committee. It is now a statutory committee.
Okay.
The membership committee is a statutory committee. It is charged with the responsibility of certifying people as being members or non-members of the PEL.
Exactly.
It is not the responsibility of the election commission to do that. And what we've said, what the elections committee, the membership committee did, was a reflection of fraud.
Yeah.
Now someone said it's human imperfection. That's how they call it. But if you indulge in an act that seem to be fraudulent.
That's credible, questionable.
Yeah, so this
intention.
it's fraudulent.
It's
So
criminal.
you got people names repeating. You have criminals on the list of the president of Liberia. You have individuals who were seen and arrested for impersonating as journalists on the listing of the president of Liberia. Now, what you're doing is you're licensing people who are not journalists to masquerade the society as journalists. At the end of the day, you want to steal an election. So you infuse names of individuals who are not journalists on the listing. After the election, you've won. This very individual masquerade the society.
With the cards.
With cards,
It's
as
DRF
journalists.
power, journalists
So
are
it's further denting the image of journalists. It's further denting the image of the president of Liberia. And we want to clean the image of the president of Liberia. We need people to help us in that enterprise to ensure that the president of Liberia is a credible institution. It's an institution that reflects credibility. That's what we
Let
intend
me
to do.
ask for
And
your
we should be-
roadmap, gentlemen, because we have 4 days to go to elections. You heard the chairperson said, all is set. What's your roadmap currently if we were to maybe overturn what they've done and we've accepted to your roadmap? What is it?
So we presented a very clear and distinct roadmap to them. Okay, when it comes to cleaning the list, have an independent panel consisting of the National Civil Society Council of this country. You have the National Media Council and auxiliary groups of the President of Liberia.
Okay.
Because what good will it do if we have interest into this vetting process and we go against, the Daniel Yankona scam? Obviously, there will be a deadlock. So the best and most expedient thing to do is have an independent panel that will be comprised of auxiliary groups who know the journalists. Like you heard our spokesman say, there are people who are not journalists on that list, and they were intentionally placed on that list.
So have you seen the latest list?
No, we haven't
Have you
seen
seen
it.
Let me speak to
what
that.
is you
Let me-
doing?
Has it been published?
And
me
that's the
speak
question.
online.
Someone said,
It's published at the office. They claimed yesterday on your show
That they were
were
publishing
going to
it.
publish it online and they will send emails to everybody.
and more than
That has
that,
not happened.
it should
That has not happened.
It should be
happened.
published in newspapers, at least 2 newspapers.
That
That's
has
a
not
requirement. It has not been done. What is the haste to do something that will not be credible? Now, we're not questioning.
What is the fear of the Julius Carnaval
No, we don't
team?
have- no, we
At
have
the
no
same
fear.
time, if you
We
went
don't
to
have
elections
fear.
tomorrow, you wouldn't make it at all. So you
No. At the end of the day, the president of Liberia should be the bulwark of democracy in the society.
Okay.
What we do should reflect every tenet of democracy. We cannot be shortcutting democracy, and short-circuiting democracy, and then we claim to be a credible institution. We say no. What happened 2019 created even a faction in the president of Liberia.
Okay.
We don't want that to happen. We want a united president of Liberia. But even as we press for a united president of Liberia, we remain consistent with our call for the elections to be credible. Now, what we are doing is not to just...
It's to delay the process.
No, not to delay the process. Now, what we are doing,
delay the process.
what we are doing is even a help to the reputation of those who are on the commission. We are not just helping to keep their reputation intact. We are even helping to enable them, enhance their reputation, because if they conduct an election that is credible, that's respected nationally,
They take the credit.
they take the credit. It enhances their reputation.
What
But
do you
if-
consider, gentlemen? Ladies and gentlemen, what do you consider a credible PUA election?
Yeah,
a credible
Mr.
election
George.
that is not, reflective of a fraudulent voter roll.
Yeah, also in
simple as that.
regards to this cleaning of the voters' rolls, we also need to take into consideration image building, which is very much important for
Okay.
everybody part of this process. Mr. Tokpa mentioned that the outcome of this process should be transparent, credible, and votable political alliances. Our plea was very simple. All we needed was an independent panel. And
From abroad? Or
No, and that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Sobo,
So
Sobo.
they said they had no resources, number one.
Okay.
Number two, it was not within
their
their
purview.
jurisdiction. Number three, it was a waste of time.
They refer to that
You know,
trash.
you know, this committee has just nomenclated themselves to be anti-Julius Kanuba, which is very
You sure of
bad.
that?
I'm very
Very sure.
sure because
You branded the committee
I
and said you sure of
attended
that?
almost all of the hearings. I continue to emphasize on the garment of arrogance. They always wear this garment of arrogance. They need to be like a mother of twins.
Okay.
You can be an election commission or an election committee and you want to play one side. When another side comes with a complaint, you say it's trash. I don't have time. I have to travel. I have to do this. In fact, you walk out of the sessions, right? These are really, really not good signs. It is so bad. And like I said yesterday, if anything fraudulent happens in this election, we blame these ladies.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I see that tomorrow, if the commission came up to say, okay, we've disaggregated the list, the next thing you guys will be opting for
One
will be to
fact
change the entire commission members.
Yes, Sobo. One fact check is this. The Constitution, all of my comments border on the Constitution. Right? And this team is stressing the Constitution because that's the organic document
Yeah, that is guiding us.
that is guiding the principles of the press union. A part of our Constitution talks about the publication of the founder membership roll. That should be done 7 days before Congress, inclusive of financial report, which we are aware that will not even be done. You have raised issue with them. You asked them yesterday, they said it's not
They
in
don't
our
want to
purview. We agree
present
with
it.
their answer. But we know this outgoing leadership of coffee has flip-flopped. So we know the issue of $10,000 US scandal and all the kind of stuff they say in escrow account. Another time they said they use it on operation here and there. So our interest, the issue of financial report will be at the Congress if the Congress is held. Now, they say 7 days before the publication of the list. The list, according to them, was published yesterday. Yesterday was what? Monday. Congress starts when? Thursday. Is that 7 days? That's violation. Just because of that one violation, because you did not publish the list 7 days
days.
ahead of Congress,
As per the
there
Constitution.
should be absolutely no Congress. No Congress. You violated. Why are these people just trying? And this is a lady who says she's a lawyer. Attorney Aliwele Kekula, she's a lawyer. And Myers boasted that they made a committee members to sign up to a code of conduct that's trash. Just as they refer to Aroma as trash, I'm referring to that code of conduct that they say they sign as trash. If you say you people signed to a code of conduct, was it public or a secret code of conduct? The media must know the content of the code of conduct. in the process of transparency and accountability, journalists cannot be holding the government accountable. We say we are watchdogs. The first time I graduated students from the Peter Kokoe School in 2016, I carved a topic titled, Who Watches the Watchdog? And you know who I brought to speak at that event? Was former Speaker Tyler. So Peter Kokoe, the person in whom the school is named, he called me. He said, Tyler, this is a strong topic. And I like the person you bring to speak. Who watches the watchdog? This is it. The door is always barking at the gate. But who watches the door that barking? We are at the crossroads. The press union must be brought to check in these elections. If we are not brought to check in these elections, how do we
Mr.
bring
George.
politicians to check in 2023?
Sure.
And Sobo,
Let me say something quickly, Review. Maybe the commission or the committee has not realized that the president of Liberia is not only for Monrovia-based journalists. From the process of registration down to the publication of the list, they have not included those from the counties. How do you expect me to come to Monrovia from way Butuo to register as a
Maryland.
journalist? It has not been fair. People were entrusted with leadership to spearhead activities that will reflect on those in the profession. But you have coordinators. Can you imagine over 25 to 30 persons who filled in a form from right there, Bon County, from Sunny Kole to Monrovia, the files got missing according to the members.
Mr. George, I want to emphatically emphasize, right, that Team Julius Kanuba is very, very, very much prepared to go for this election. We are not afraid.
You prepared when you are delaying the process?
This is not a delay tactics. We just want a very transparent process. And nobody wants to walk into a process wherein they are very, cognizant of the fact that they would be defeated. So it is not that we
So
are
your fear
playing
is
around.
if you
We're
went
not
to the
afraid.
your fear is if you went to the process now
Because
on
the
Saturday
process
you'll
is
be defeated.
fraudulent.
No,
We will not be defeated. This is
No,
why we are
we want
leading
a
everything.
transparent
The
process.
fear, Saba,
Process.
the fear is we do not even know those that are on the list. That's a flooded list with ghost names. How do you campaign to ghosts?
The list was
You
clear.
can't use a mistake.
From
You can't use a
1,410
mistake to
to
correct a mistake.
1,426. So where was the reduction? What are the names that they claim, that they agree to us that those names did not meet the criteria?
Okay, ladies
So
and
what's
gentlemen.
the reduction in the list?
Additionally, Saba,
Why are they afraid to disaggregate the list so that we find out who is who? They are afraid. They are the one. The membership committee, in fact, the election committee is the one afraid to
And
disaggregate
the
the
way they
list
proceed.
because they will
Okay,
be
gentlemen, let me just
their
take
deeds will be
your
brought
colleague
out.
on the line. Let me
Their
take your
deeds will be
colleague
brought out.
on the line. Edwin Clark is on the line. Let me take you on the line quickly. And then later on, I ask my last question to open the lines. Good morning, Edwin.
Good morning, Saba. Good morning to my colleagues in studio.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you for the full representation this morning. It is my plea to two stakeholders in Liberian media, to be specific, the President of Liberia. This goes directly to Charles Coffey. Charles Coffey will go down in the history of the PFL as the worst leader in PFL history. All the controversy about voter roll emerged during the tenure of Charles Coffey in 2019. In 2016, we have 465 members in Ghana when Charles Coffey was elected. On that voter roll, we knew what Charles Coffey was, EFDC. We knew what John Cody was, NMDR. We see it on the listing. We knew where they were. But since 2019, that format changed. It changed. Charles Coffey went and brought everybody on and brought Sokos and Sokis and all running around the field Adika. The Adika, the president of Liberia, have been disrespected because anybody from anywhere, whether you're a journalist or not, are in possession of field Adika. These things taking place under the leadership of Charles Coffey. And secondly, this goes to media, editors, veterans, and executives in Liberian media, in the president of Liberia. Whatever we did, we wrote all these new people drawing their attention to what is unfolding in the president of Liberia, that the year is being denigrated. The respect of the president of Liberia have been taken away. They have sacked some founders that meant no intervention, the section
Okay.
These are critical issues that they must intervene.
Okay.
The president of Liberia will be dragged in the dodges of disrespect and despair.
Okay, many
Mr.
thanks.
George,
Now,
before you start taking
and that is
notes,
why-
before
that
you-
is-
before
let
you
me
start
ask
taking
this question,
notes.
please. Please make sure that you get the Charles coffee for me quickly. Gentlemen, before I open the lines, please, let me ask this question because this is what we want to hear from the Julius Carnabas team. It seems that with all of the concerns we've been raising, because initially you asked for an edit of the voter roll that was done. And now you are coming up to ask for disintegration, disaggregation. It seems that you are not prepared at all to go to election on Saturday.
We keep repeating ourselves, Saba. It's not about preparedness. Everybody in this room has said how prepared we are. But we are also prepared to make sure that we stagnate anything that has the tendency to bring a bad image. And we will not relent. We said it.
But now
we have
I'm
spoken.
coming. Now the
Minute, Saba.
chairperson said, I'm coming. I'm coming,
I-
woman. Now the chairperson said, all is said. So the fact that you are raising your own new concerns, are you saying
No,
that?
they are not strange concerns.
Are you saying that you're going to?
But all of these
They are
things
not
we said
new
were
concerns,
embedded
Saba.
in our concerns to the membership committee.
Okay.
Now, I mean, I heard someone being so cheeky and saying that we're asking for people from Honolulu. No, we're not asking for people from Hawaii.
Can you imagine?
Our recommendation
Or Miami.
reflected national ownership of the process. It's a continuation of the national ownership of the process. What we're trying to do is to promote a culture of transparency within the President of Liberia. We say what? Bring people from the Reporters Association. They are not from Hawaii. They are not from Alaska.
They are
They're
ready.
from the President of Liberia.
We heard
said bring
that.
people from-
We heard that, Mr.
Saba,
Mr.
can you give
I'm
us a
coming.
chance?
I'm
Yeah,
coming.
yeah.
We heard that already. I think you guys already spoke about that. We heard that. Now the process, like the chairperson said, is set for Saturday.
And we refuse to
Are
accept
you
that it
going
is
to?
set, Saba.
Are you
But
going
we
to
refuse.
invoke
What-
whatever
Mr.
laws
George.
to put a hold to it?
Mr. George, this is
we
what we
maintain,
said.
we maintain,
refuse to
we maintain,
accept
and we
that.
re-emphasize this. We maintain and we re-emphasize it. There wouldn't be elections if the right things are not done.
Perfect.
There wouldn't be elections.
If the right things are not done.
Yeah, so lastly, right, we cannot always twist and turn democracy to suit ourselves.
Sure.
So we'll not sit down and say, okay, because we prepared, then we'll go into a fraudulent process. And this is the first specific thing on our 6-pillar agenda. The accountable leadership. Julius and his team will ensure that accountability is the hallmark of the leadership of the Press Union of Liberia with respect to the general operations of the union. And this same accountability we're talking about, this is also included.
Yes.
You cannot have an electoral process that is not accountable, that is not transparent.
The member of the election commission will have to arm herself with a garment of transparency.
Sure.
Or she characterize herself as a body that is an enabler of the Daniel's agenda.
And let me just add this, as we speak, Saba, yesterday the committee announced that they will publish the list before 1 p.m. yesterday.
It is
That
yet
list
to be
was
published.
placed on the bulletin, but as we speak, it's still not published
It was not even
because
shared with
journalists do not have access to it, and they are entitled to have access to that listing that is said.
Okay, so let me open the lines
So
to my
we
listeners.
resist that list has not been clean. Why are they hiding it if they clean? Is clean.
Okay, let's take this media personnel, Ms. Jaya Griffield. Jaya, good morning.
Good morning, Saba, and I'm speaking to you as a former official of the President of Liberia. I've served that president as vice president for 3 years. And the guys in studio have raised some genuine concerns. And those concerns need to be addressed. And if they are not addressed, I foresee that they will be going to place an injunction on the process, which should not be good. Secondly, I have reached out to some members of the civil society to find an amicable solution to this matter. I'm placing our channel the other day. I said I've spoken with people of our Dolo, the civil society person on election, Oscar
Bro.
And he told me, Jala, I'm ready to sit with the aggrieved party to see if we can have this thing settled. And Oscar is a big brother who I trust. And I proposed that to the guys the other day. I said, Oscar is trying to help us to have this thing handled. And the other one is Tata Stoba violation of something which is a grave violation. Now, if you have cleared the voter roll or of the publication of the voter list should be up for 7 days before the Congress, right? But if that is not done and we go to Congress, it's a violation. All the other issues we're talking about there, you could talk about it, it's not clear, but that is a major violation. And Mr. Kofi, who is the president of the union, must take serious of the matter.
Okay. I tried placing call to Mr. Coffee. He's not picking up.
1 minute.
Go ahead.
So, Mr. Coffee, I think Mr. Coffee is indecisive in taking decision. And this is a legacy for him as a president
Certainly.
of the union.
he's
And let me
listening.
clear this one right
And he
now.
wants to
Mr.
run.
King. Now, I saw the other day, this one first time speaking on this matter since the PL election started. The other day, the other side released a statement that Darren Yakona came accusing LBS management of taking clear side with Julius Garba. So now, this Charles Coffey, who is the outgoing president of the union, he benefited 2 times from the CEPC support. Why didn't the other people say that LBS was giving side to Charles Coffey, or is it because he was in the employ of LBS? So, what the same thing we did the other poll yesterday when it's being done to someone today, he shouldn't be criticizing the person. Charles Coffey is a product of
Beyond that, Sobo.
Many thanks.
Just to take away from what Jala said. Now, I mean, I hear this.
I'm about to open my mouth.
I'm 1 minute. I hear this
And we
claim
are ready
about.
to engage your colours.
Yeah, I mean, I hear this claim about LBS supporting us. Now, those are LBS are journalists. Now, there's a newsroom, a radio station up one hill in Monrovia that was used as the campaign launch, as the launch of a campaign for Daniel. The newsroom was turned into a ballot. Prime FM newsroom was turned into a ballot dance hall for Daniel Yankona and his team. They were dancing in the newsroom. Wow. Anybody cry about that?
No.
Okay.
We have not come to LBS studio to
Okay,
dance.
gentlemen, let me open my lines quickly. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. George.
Yes, sir.
Good morning to Makori Studio. They set us for we.
It's a pleasure, bro.
The Congress Committee has killed itself. We are not angry or disappointed, but we will have pity on them. Few corrections. There has been no audit of the list.
Good.
What has happened is there have been self-cleansing and cover-up of fraud. 10, 15 October, State Canada raised red flag that the current voter roll provisional as released was fraudulent. We provided a tip on the iceberg. They validated it, and instead of calling us or establishing the panel that we suggested because the membership committee demonstrated gross incompetence, they instead decided to work in under the cover of darkness, calling people surreptitiously to fill in fire and then admitting people outside of the framework of the membership committee. If there is nothing else than fraud, that is it. So how can people who work with integrity institutions like the period, call yourself journalists, would proceed in such manner and form? We do not want someone elected as president because we want to be president indeed. First of all, we care about the integrity of the institution. That is why we are making these issues. So we get the president of Liberia and the manner in form in which the Parliament Committee and Adewale Kofi are presenting themselves is the greatest attack ever on the democratic values of the period.
Okay, you made a point. You made a point over there. Let's get this call on the line quickly. Good morning.
Good morning, Savo, and good morning to the Kimi studio.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
So I'm calling you from Maryland County.
Okay.
Yeah. This is issues that have been raised over the time, and the leadership of the president of Liberia kept silence on it, especially Mr. Coffey. We should understand that some of these things will tarnish the image of the union. Now you have a number of journalists in the county that the coordinator passed over from Pligo and Harper and went to Calgary to pick innocent children, to place them on the list. When we raised the issue the last time, he told us that we want to be coordinator because private he takes the position like a private something. But I think we have to leave the issue of who has the position, who doesn't have it, and fight for the betterment of the president of Liberia.
Okay.
If somebody does not practice for 5 years or above, and the person is in place as a full member, It is our right to raise these issues. All right?
Okay.
exactly what
You made your point already. You made your point already. Let's get this call on the line. Good morning.
Good morning, Sobo, and good morning to my dynamic colleagues in studio. This is Nikos Andrews.
Okay.
Because
Look, our colleagues in studio have said it, have said everything. And for us, especially for me, I have called personally on Mr. Charles Coffey. This election now is beyond the committee that Charles Coffey put in place. And I have written Charles Coffey as one of his long time supporters. Mr. Charles Coffey. Mr. Charles Coffey, you have life to live after PUL. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. Let the PUL be your legacy. You are leaving the PUL and you want to contest in Grand Crew County. If you don't put things in place and you leave the PUL in noise, history will judge you and will remind you of your past
The North will follow
when
him.
you're seeking elected posts in Grand Crew County. This is my candid appeal to you as one of your long time supporters. All my voters that have gone in area have been voting for Charles Coffey. You live in power, live with peace. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
All right. You made your point. Let's take this caller. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. This caller's not ready. Let's take this other caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
My name is Michael Roy and I join you from Maryland County.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to thank my senior colleague in studio. They have said it all. There are several issues we raised. First of all, the president of Liberia attempted to due diligence to community radio stations.
Okay.
Like one of the callers said, if you go into the kind of Congress, you consult those who are employers. For example, I'm not speaking my case. You speak, either you get in consultations to media owners, or you get in consultation with those who are managing radio stations. You can have one coordinator sitting in a comfort zone and just registering people, telling the union that this person is a journalist without doing verification of these names. For example, here in Maryland, we have Mr. Daniel Yakuna audio. When he called one of our supporters that, look, I will not release the articles until we get to Congress with Banga.
You see that? Personalized institution.
We have it.
Desperation.
Up to that as we speak. All of us who give our support to Julius, we are yet to receive our article. How do we go to Congress?
can you imagine?
How do we? And the
Committee says all is set.
Kadwe. In Kadwe, where Mr. Bledo is representing, the station is not even on. The current manager just joined the professor in 2020.
You see?
How will you say this man who joined the professor in 2020 is qualified?
Okay. You made your point already. Let's get this other caller on the line quickly. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Paul.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. This is Brown Tate calling from Chapter Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think I follow all the guests in studio. And let me thank them so much. You know, sometimes you go to carry on some of the strangest scrutiny and what have you. I can remember in the sport or writer association when Roland Boba was there, this thing came up. And sometimes it benefits the incumbent. Let's say, for example, even with all the critical stand and they don't go to the election this weekend, you know, my question is, who benefit? Even if they put injunction on the process and the process maybe have to stay for 3, 4, 5 more, who benefit? So sometimes, is there any way forward? Thank you.
Okay. He's asking whether there's any way forward, but they'll respond to that. Good morning.
That's a good question.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. President.
I'm okay. Okay.
Thank you, Chief. One thing I want to say, let me say that we should you guys in the studio this morning. But one thing I want to say, the president of Liberia actually are not doing good thing to be the people that are in the country's house. They can just sit down over there, they decide among themselves, we say their jobs. And not knowing that, we got other, people in the country, so are journalists also. So I told them, telling them, let them try to centralize the whole issue so that the whole people can be part of the union.
Okay. You said all all what you want to do.
Centralized.
Let's hear from this caller. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, sir.
My name is Emmanuel Fogba. I'm calling from the country.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good morning to your studio guests.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to know whether this process was decentralized in a 15 countries. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, let's hear from this other caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Sabo, and I call you from Maryland. My name is Johnny Namwe.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I listen to all, our colleagues in the studio because I'm a journalist. I work with the Border Radio. I listen to our colleagues in the studio. They are making a good sense.
Okay.
But we just have to come together and find a way forward. That's all.
Okay.
But when the whole political to go somewhere, if you didn't come to me to my radio, the program direct to my radio, I will tell you what happened. But the problem is that let's find a way forward because when the other party said they want the president, they will not find the president for the next 3 years to come.
Okay. Let's take this call on the line. Good morning.
Good morning, Sabah. This is JKB. How are you today?
I'm okay.
Let me say thanks to the guys in studio. Sabah, anything that is not rightly done is not done at all. And I think the Elections Commission of the PUL, my question to them, whose interest do they have to protect here? Is it the union or individuals like Julius or Daniel in this process? From the way I listened to this Elections Commission yesterday, it tells me they have a fixed mind and that somebody's interest they got to protect at all costs. Amidst all the violations that have been reported, what are they saying? They prepare to hold an election when publication have not been done across the country for people to know where they stand. People ID cards still be withheld in the process and not reaching them. For me, I'm afraid.
Okay.
This is not the way to do things if you want to make things right. The interest of the union is more paramount than any one individual. And this is the reason why some of us are rising up this time. We've been away from the union because of this kind of thing. But we are coming in this time because we want the right things to be done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's take this call on the line. Good morning.
Good morning, Sabo. This is Matthew. I call from San County.
Okay, sir.
So, Romeo, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Yeah. Are you people saying that probably we should not be taking our way to one county by one state because
You're asking
It's a key question.
Okay, you made your point already. Let's take this call on the line. Good morning. Good morning. Hello?
Good morning.
Yes, good morning, sir.
My name is Muli. I call from Kingston.
Okay.
The people will depend on the real information. If they are arguing about themselves, is there anything that if they press law that says what's happening is first unit to go and observe their election, everything is going school, then they can't monitor themselves.
Okay. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Sabo George.
Yes, sir.
We said I do join you from Broadway community.
Okay.
Yes, I listened to your studio guest this morning, and whatsoever they have narrated, everything is in line with mine or things that I was there from the press union. You know, the press unions of Liberia is kind of a cabal crew that people will just mislead things. You see, people who took their ID cards, up to now, we have not received our IDs. And this is the third time of releasing the listing of the voter roll of those voters. And some of us, they will get to the office asking for our ID cards, we see it will be like tricking us, giving us all type of voice. So the need to come to the cry of those people in the studios here.
Okay.
It's in line with my observation.
Okay. Thank you. Let's take this call. We're taking the two more calls and wrap up our silver calls. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
This is Patrick Brown calling from Mount Barkley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to thank you for the show. Since the onset of these interviews, I've been monitoring closely. And once we come with everything must come with clean hands. I want to conscientize my brother in studio there, my brothers and sisters in studio there. Once the rating is not done, the election should not be held on Saturday.
Of course.
Thank you.
Okay, election should be held on Saturday. We'll take on one more call and we'll wrap it up quickly. 0776540987 or better still 0880-514-096. That's the numbers to call and you are live. I try getting in touch with Mr. Charles Coffey. Coffey is the president of the Press Union of Liberia, but Mr. Coffey is not picking his phone. Again, this open invite for the Daniel Yankona's team. If you can come, we'll still find airtime for you as well. Yesterday we had the Congress. We also had the chairperson of the Press Union. Today we have the Julius Kanaba team. Let's take this caller. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, sir. I'm Daniel FNTB calling from Banga.
Okay.
I just want to say that the way things are going in the press union is a shame to,
It is.
to the press union, because these are guys that are writing all kind of stories about government, writing all kind of stories about people. And
They can put their house in order. Can you imagine that?
It's a shame. Thank you.
Okay. Many thanks. Let me take the last caller quickly. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, sir.
Good morning to your listeners here also.
It's a pleasure.
Good morning.
My name is Emmanuel Soba. I call you for the second time. Alright, I want to know whether the people who conducting the election are from the press union.
Okay. They will answer that. Let me take this last caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Software and the rest of the team. My name is Louis Yakuba Senior. You know, the two guys who are running according to my sons. So I will look at the issues when it comes to the debate. But what concerns me right now is the mockery that is being placed on the press union. Don't forget, we were in Nimba, no Gambasa, and then a rate was flashed on the whole process. All the resources and people that are gathered in Gambasa have to come back to Monrovia. I see it happening soon. If the proper things are not done by the current leadership, I hope my brother and friend, Coffee, I'm sure he's listening, they will do the right thing so that no shame again will come on the president of Liberia. Let them do the proper thing. When somebody have issue, it's hard to dash them away. I experienced it before. I served on the organization committee at that time with Cholo groups. You all know it should not be said.
Okay.
We are in Banga, and then we are being flashed, like a news flash, and we have to pack our bag to come back to Monrovia.
Okay.
I'm just a beating.
For me, I'm not even packing my bag now because I did. I may not even go to Banga. Gentlemen, let me hear from all of you your reactions to the caller so I can take leave of you.
So, but there are
Okay.
two issues that, on behalf of the team, we want to clarify quickly before the rest of my colleagues in our chair can come in. One, the issue of the ID card, like you heard some of the callers talk about it. In our estimation, there are up to 400 journalists whose names are on the list, the so-called list that is at the claim, who don't have ID card.
Can you imagine that?
How are they going to vote without PUA ID card? Our information is that, our intelligence is that, the current vice president of the press union, who is running for the presidency, Mr. Daniel Yankona, has in his possession bundles of ID cards.
He's parading around with it?
Parading around with it, in his bag, or wherever he has them. There are, you heard one of the guys from Maryland saying that
He said he
they
didn't
are
give him.
supporters of Julius Kanuba, perceived supporters of Julius Kanuba. Because it is possible that you go to register, people perceive you as supporter of Julius Kanuba. At the ballot box, it is possible that you may not vote for Julius Kanuba. We are cognizant of that.
Okay.
We need those ID cards, Mr. Daniel Nyakona, and whosoever have those ID cards in their possession must release them